Well, howdy and what's up, Internet? Again, I'm Jeremy with C6 Defense, and I like coffee. Had someone ask me if I was trying to look like Nick Freitas with my coffee cup, and no, I can't pull that off. I I am lacking, uh, yeah, the arms and the chest and the everything to pull off a good Nick Freitas. But he and I do have something in common, and that is cup. I really had no intention of trying to be like that, and I was just being normal. If you ask any of, well, you wouldn't be able to, but you ask anybody that normally takes one of my classes, I always have a cup of coffee or something, usually coffee. So anyway, and I do actually have more than this coffee cup, but I, for whatever reason, I know exactly why, and that's because this is the biggest coffee cup that I have. I remember the old Geico commercial where it's like, their people, and it's like this tiny coffee cup, and then our people, and it's like this 1 gallon coffee cup, and that would be cool. But the problem with that is I wouldn't be able to drink it fast enough to keep the coffee hot, and I like hot coffee, which is odd in summertime in Texas. Anyway, totally off topic. But what I wanted to talk about today was in the vein of everyday preparedness. What are you doing to increase your skill level as far as shooting? And one thing I wanted to introduce today, or not introduce, I'm sure you all have seen it, is the line of Mantis products. I'm not sponsored by Mantis, although, hey, Mantis, if you want to send me some stuff, I will make videos and I will push it and sell it. Just saying. Um, Specifically, we're going to talk today about the Mantis X. This is a little, emphasis on little, um, adapter that goes, or adapter, little device that goes on the front or the bottom or somewhere on your pistol or rifle and syncs with an app. We're going to look at the app in just a second, and allows you to track where, like when during the trigger press, where your barrel's pointing. You know, because ideally you want to have absolutely no movement on the pistol if you're using a pistol or rifle or whatever you're shooting, when you press the trigger all the way through a clean trigger break, and you want that gun or the whatever to go nowhere. You want it to go exactly where you are pointing. But a lot of times, in fact, all the time, whenever you're in that trigger press, the way that you're moving the trigger with your finger, the way your hand is, the way your thumbs are, what pressure you're putting on it, that all can have a negative impact on where that bullet goes. And as we've talked about before, you're accountable for every bullet that leaves that gun. So it's probably a good idea to practice. This is a dry fire training tool. This one actually is the Mantis X3, which will do live fire as well. So you can put it on your gun and take it to the range, and it will tell you what you're doing there wrong too, which is always fun, being told wrong how you're wrong. But in any case, I would recommend this one. This is the X3. The X2 is sort of the same thing. It just only does dry fire. Dry fire is an incredible tool. If you're trying to do some training at home, trying to save some money, spending some extra time, just messing around with stuff, get your pistol out, get your rifle out, do some dry fire. What dry fire is going through all the motions without actually firing anything. All weapons today, pistols, rifles, shotguns, all that should be able to be dry fired, which means you don't have to have ammunition in it. You can still go through the reps. You can still press the trigger. You'll hear the firing pin engage, and it's not hitting anything, but it'll be fine. Your pistol will be fine. The only time that might not be the case is on some 22s or some rimfire cartridges. That might not work out so well, so maybe check your manual for that. But in any case, check out just go through all the reps and dry fire it. So we're going to go to the table, and I'll show you what this looks like. I'll put the camera on the app so you can see what happens when the trigger breaks, and walk through a couple of drills and all that. And again, I'm not sponsored by Mantis. I just think it's a really good tool. And this is the X2. I also have the Blackbeard X. That's for your rifle. The one I have is for AR-15, but they have a number of different patterns for different rifles. And I really would like to get the Titan X, which is their dry fire pistol. And it's got all the X stuff built into it, but it actually resets the trigger for you and does some cool stuff. So in any case, let's go to the table. I'll show you what this looks like, and I'll put it on the app, and we'll see what happens from there. All right, welcome to the table, aka my dinner table. So I apologize if there's stuff like the table's ends right there. And anyway, having a makeshift video area is somewhat difficult. I, as always, have my coffee. Got a couple of things to show you. So here is the Mantis X3. Goes on the rail of your pistol or whatever, and syncs with an app. I will get all that out for you, and we'll get going. And like that, magic. Boom. All right, here we go. Got my setup here. I apologize also if you hear printer noise in the background. I've got a printer going, making a bunch of weird stuff and Christmas stuff. And we also started making these really cool defensive style, whatever, whistles. Got our, I don't know if y'all can see that, got our website on it, got the logo on it. It's pretty cool. If you blow on this hard enough, it will definitely make your ears bleed. So it's pretty cool. Working on a number of things with that. So I have a PSA dagger right here. It's got, I think this is an Alpha Wolf barrel on it. I like the grip of the dagger. It's good for practice and stuff. I've also replaced the firing pin. I can't remember, I think it's Overwatch Precision replacement firing pin for it because I've read a lot about firing pins breaking, at least the factory ones. This was a couple of years ago. So in any case, shoots great, no problems with it at all whatsoever. I have a couple of them because, you know, when stuff's on sale, and especially gun stuff, you buy parts, and eventually you have enough parts left over to build another one. So, you know, whatever. So I built this one a while back. I've got a black one and stuff. Fits all the same holsters that I have. That is not always the case. So make sure that if you're going to go that route, that you're going to have the same results that I do. Anyway, my wife has the Dagger Micro, which is the Glock 43X, 48, 40. Anyway, it shoots real well too. The only issue with that one is that the Mantis doesn't fit on it natively. You have to get a little adapter, which I printed. So you can also buy one. So a couple of things. I've got the Mantis. It goes right on the rail here. You can orient it different ways, and you can set it up in the app different ways. Also have empty magazines. Make sure, and I like I'll show you the app in a second. It does make sure to tell you a bunch of times to make sure your magazine's empty. Check your chamber, nothing there. And because you're going to be actually manipulating the firearm and pulling the trigger and clicking. Hopefully, no bangs. That is a really bad feeling when it goes bang when it should not. Also, a really bad feeling when it goes click and it should not. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, I got a couple of spare magazines because some of the drills the app has you go through will require you to switch magazines and do some manipulations and stuff, which is really cool. Sorry, the camera angle is throwing me off here, and it really hate it that you can see my shirt, but whatever. We're gonna go with it because, you know. Also, you might see this over here. This is a part of the Blackbeard X system. It comes with obviously looks like an AR-15 magazine. This is the battery system, and where you turn it on and stuff. But it also has a replacement bolt for your AR-15 or bolt carrier group. And that means you cannot accidentally load live rounds in it and actually fire anything off. So that's good. This one, on a pistol, you can. So be very, very careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my phone out. I will show you how this looks. I'm going to pull up the Mantis app. And then you can see this, hopefully. Has a connect button. I'm going to click connect. Click shows my age. I'm going to push the connect button on the X2, 3. This is X3, sorry. And now it's synced already. So it tells you some of the stuff, some of the drills that you can have. I'm going through one of their, I think it's the combat training drill set, but you can also just do free fire. You can, or free, what do they call it? Open training. Sorry, I can't read upside down. Where you just go through reps and you work on. It's got a shot timer that works. I mean, obviously this will not be as good as a good shot timer. Sorry, y'all can't see that. A good shot timer that you would carry to the range with you. The speakers aren't going to be loud enough on your phone, probably, to do that. But again, take it for what it is. This is really, really good for home practice. So there's some other cool stuff you can set up, connect with other people, set up groups for training. It works with the Mantis X 2, 3, and all of, I mean, the app works with all of them, but it works with the one on a pistol, or you can go to settings. I can set it to my rifle. And actually it knows which one's which. So if I turn on the Blackbeard X, it automatically switches the profile to my rifle profile. You can tell it what hand you use, whether or not you're in live fire, dry fire, wherever you're mounting it, forward, backward, the position on there, and hey, there's my username if y'all want to, if you can see that. Maybe not, but in any case, there are a bunch of mounting options. So one thing I did want to note, and I don't have one yet. I've made a couple of like rail adapters for magazines, especially some of the cheaper like Magpul magazines, because they're like $9. So this is like $30, and I don't want to ruin that. But the $9 Magpul ones, you could just take a little rail section. And I was gonna say, if I have one, this is a test print that I made out of crappy looking white material, but I printed this, and you can just screw it right on the bottom. And so that way, once it's attached, you can just clip it on down there. The problem with this setup, and you'll see, depending on the depending on the drill that you do, you may want to remove the magazine, put in a fresh one, and you can't do that if your sensor is on the magazine. Obviously, that's not going to work. But if I wanted to practice drawing and presenting from a holster, obviously that's not going to work. So depending on how you set up the drill, you may want to put the Mantis, the sensor on the magazine for that drill, and take it off, put it on this one. There's also another product called a dry fire mag that has, it's a magazine that does not take ammunition, but it's got some spring systems in here that will actually reset the trigger for you. Because one of the problems you'll see with striker fired pistols is once you pull the trigger, it doesn't do anything else. You have to, when you fire normally, the ammunition explodes, blah, 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 the blowback and the recoil resets the trigger as the slide reciprocates. So now I can press the trigger again. Well, if I'm dry firing, that means every time I pull the trigger, you can see that, didn't reset. I have to not chamber around, but I have to reciprocate the slide. So there's a product called the dry fire mag that you can put in, and that'll reset the trigger for you and allow you to keep firing. That's good. And again, depending on the style of training that you're doing at that particular time. So there's a great selection of options and accessories for different methods of training. So I would just say pick a day or two or three. It'd be great to do it every day, but who has the time for doing something every day? I mean, if you do, great. But I'm going to start saying Mantis Monday. And so I'm just going to call Mondays Mantis Monday, and I'm going to get up, and if I'm not working on something else in the morning before I go to work, I'll just set it up, and I'll just run through a couple of reps of a drill or open training or something like that, just so that I can make sure and keep those skills good. Because if I can get good with dry fire and trigger control, and the way I'm presenting, the way I'm not moving the pistol whenever I'm firing, then that's going to translate to real world, especially that first shot. And more shots or better shots on target faster is going to end a defensive encounter a lot faster than just spraying and praying and hoping something hits. So anyway, so let me run through a quick challenge real quick. I'll just do an open training. So this is one of the things I really like. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it says, warning, hey, make sure that you've got no ammunition in your gun. It says, please double check your chamber and all magazines to ensure they are unloaded and dry, practicing in a safe environment. Do not break any of the safe firearm handling rules here. If you need a reference, I'm going to have a video linked that you should watch. There's 4 firearm safety rules, and you should not break any of them. And anytime they are broken, bad things happen. As I've said in other videos, the rule of stupid really applies. If you do stupid things, stupid results will happen. So you do bad things or dumb things with a gun, you're going to have some bad stuff happen. And yeah, anyway. So I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to hit start. So let's see. This is just the score of it. I'll put it this way. Okay, I'm going to try to hold it completely still. Obviously, I do not fire this way, but in case I needed to, I'm going to try to hold it just like I would and press the trigger cleanly. 96. I'm going to reset. Try again. 91. Pulling a little that way. Try again. So now if I've messed up, it's going to tell me what it thinks I was doing. So it's pretty cool. You can also see some other statistics. You can see like where your shots were or what the pistol was doing when those shots broke, which is pretty cool to see where you're going, what's going on. Ideally, you want to have this not move, but especially me, and especially because of coffee, my hands shake a little bit. So anyway, but this is a great training tool to help you get better, especially if you start going through some of the other, well, there we go, some of the other drills that get you moving around, that get you reloading, doing some other manipulations other than just sitting there and squeezing the trigger. So I know this is pretty far away and you can't see that, but there's a lot of drills that are really cool. Again, I am not sponsored by Mantis yet, but just kidding. I'm not sponsored by Mantis. I paid for all this out of my own money, and I just want to be able to train and be a better defender, be a better protector, and have better everyday preparedness. So I'm going to start doing Mantis Monday. So if you guys have some special training or special things that you guys do, let me know. Let me know what y'all do. I want to know. I want to try. I'll try stuff. Anyway, just want to get better. Everyday preparedness. All right, and we're back. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope that the Mantis series of products can help you out. If not, I mean, sure, they can be a bit pricey. This one was $130, $140, I think, with a coupon code that I found because I'm USCCA instructor. But you know, if you can find the X2, I think is on Amazon. I mean, you can get it. I would suggest getting it direct from Mantis, but even on Amazon, it's like $90-something. That's if you think about it, the amount of money that you're going to spend on just a couple of boxes of ammo when you can just do this at home. Sure, you're not going to get the felt recoil, but all other things you can experience with dry fire at home. So I would suggest going this route. If you want to go with the Blackbeard X, that's a little bit more expensive for rifle training, but rifle ammo is way more expensive than pistol ammo, so I would recommend that. But if nothing else, even if you don't want to spend any money, don't get any products from Mantis, don't do any of that, do dry fire, because that is a surefire, guaranteed way to improve your shooting skills and thus improve your defensive skills and thus improve your everyday preparedness. thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you think I did a good job, or leave me a comment if you didn't think I did a good job, or whatever. Or just go about your merry day and don't engage at all. That's fine too. But I appreciate y'all's time, and hope you have a good one. It's tiny. It's so cute. Little guy. Little guy. Anyway, I may have to cut that out. That sounded stupid. Whatever. Anyway,